Hi, I'm Pete, and this is a Champions Cube Store unboxing, and the first unboxing of the new year. So this package only took 8 days to get here, which is actually phenomenal when you consider that we had the New Year's holiday, so a couple of days off. In Canada, we get Boxing Day, which is the day after New Year, sorry, the day after Christmas. And then New Year's Day, a couple of holidays, and then a really bad storm, very bad weather. So let's see. All right, that looks about right. Bag's empty. So yeah, I kind of like this service. The DHL is from Champions. It's about $15 for this size box. You get a couple of puzzles, and you know, I think it works out quite well. So there we are. Now, I haven't given you any hints as to what the puzzles might be this time. Of course, the one main puzzle I always get, and then a couple of little box filler puzzles. I guess I better put my Strider away here. There we go. Yeah, so I haven't been making videos lately. I thought I would over the holidays, but I've been a little under the weather, and I had to have some surgery. So anyway, I'm all right now. Okay, here we are. Wow, first thing I see is the Z-Cube bag. I saw that on their website, and I thought I'd give that a try, and I'll show you what I had in mind for that. Okay, there's one of the puzzles I ordered, and then the other one, and then this is the one that I was actually going for, so hopefully that'll be alright. Let's try it out. Okay. Empty box. Alright, well, there's my haul from Champions. And, you know, I like placing these little orders, and I got a couple more of these on the way where you get one puzzle, and then you're looking for the, you get a couple of other interesting ones. Well, let's start with the bag. I thought this bag looked on their website a little bigger than some of the bags, and I think it is, because what I need is a bag that will hold something like a 4x4. This is my Shepherd's Cube, and I think this'll work. Yeah. So you know, it seems like a nice bag. It might be you know, a nice color, and so but it's nice for the slightly bigger puzzles, you know, than the bags that are good for just 3x3. So, all right, I'm glad I got that one. Okay, what else did I get? Well, little tiny puzzle here. Maybe a little smaller than I expected. This is from Z-Cube. And, okay, well, that's all it says on it. But you can actually see what the puzzle is, because it actually has a picture on the outside of what the puzzle is. It's a... Whoa, it's a 2x2x3 standard stickering. I think so anyway. Let's see, BOG, yep, exactly. So a Z-Cube 2x2x3, and you know, I like cuboids, so it's just a nice little puzzle to have. It's actually a little smaller than I thought, but it'll travel well. Okay, a little bit catchy there. I think it'll break in okay. This was not a very expensive puzzle. So, and obviously it's not going to shapeshift because it's even to odd. But it just, basically, when you're solving a 2x2, you know, you can take a few shortcuts, use some cuboid algorithms that would normally flip the middle edge on a larger puzzle. And so this will take just a little bit more thought to solve. So just a cool little thing and a nice addition to my cuboids. All right, so that was one. The other one, I have absolutely no idea what this is. I saw it on there. It was like about $6, and he said, "All right, well, this will help me get you know, fill up the box a little bit." So it's from DianSheng. Okay, and it says age is 8+, so that's pretty good. All right, here's the Chinese writing on there. If you're able to read that, I'll just hold it for a moment. Alright, maybe there's something on there. And, well, that's about it. It just, okay. Wow, it's completely written in Chinese. Okay, what it was called was a shield cube. Oh, I see an actual English URL right there, so maybe I'll take a look at that a little later. All right, well, let's see what I got. It's called a shield cube, and I don't know. It looked like an interesting shape. Oh, wow, this is, whoa. So this is it. Wow, this is, so what do I got? A shield cube. So it's a, let's see, it's a hexagon. It's a hexagonal prism. That's the shape of it anyway. And, but it has these interesting cuts. So how does it work? Okay. Well, that's kind of interesting. Little catchy. But not too bad. Anyway. Okay. Wow, that is something. So let's see. So I can turn this part, and I can turn this part. Now I don't know if it's gonna shape shift. Looks like it might. Oh my goodness, yeah. Look at that. It actually tests a little bit of shape shifting too. Oh, that's a bit more than I expected. All right, it is a little catchy, so I'm gonna have to maybe do some work on it here. I have no idea what this is. You know, once I get because you know, of course, you get that rush of excitement when you open the box, and so I really can't think straight right now to figure out what it might be. But all right, well, let's see. I got one. It could be a center. Two. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, well, could be a shape mod of something or other. Anyway, it'll be fun to just sit and figure this out. I mean, for $6, I mean, really, you know, I can take it apart and fix any little flash and put some lube in there, maybe adjust the tensions. But it actually looks pretty good. Everything's capped inside. Right? It's a little tight, and that might be what's causing the turning. But honestly, I mean, the stickers are really good, nice and bright and well applied. So, you know, this is pretty cool to be able to get something like this. So I'm gonna play with this and have a lot of fun with that. All right. Well, how did this start? How did this madness start? Where I found myself on Champion's Cube store. Getting a puzzle order. Well, it was this. I was thinking about my my wormhole puzzles, and I think someone was asking a question about one of the wormhole puzzles, and I realized, you know, I don't have that one. And it's true that you can make all of the wormholes from, if you have the mix-up series, you can make all the wormholes. The fact is, you got to take two puzzles apart. It takes a while. It's a bit of a pain, and then you got to sacrifice one of your other wormhole puzzles to make this one. So I got the Wormhole 3. You can see that right there. It says Wormhole 3. There's a little picture of a baby on here. It says 0 to 3 with a slash over it. I assume that they could probably choke on this if they, you know, somehow, you know, they chewed on it, or so I imagine, you know, probably 4 with supervision or something like that. Yeah, it's just don't put it in the mouth. Mix Up Plus and Wormhole Magic Cube, and then it has something written on there. Yeah, so there's the list, and I believe I actually have all of these except maybe other puzzle from WitEden. All right, well, enough of that. Let's get into this. There you go. So there is the Wormhole 3. So the wormhole, just to refresh your memory, it has these little peepholes in it, and there's actually an inner puzzle inside. So you can see those white layers in there. Let's see if I can, so you see those white layers, but if I turn it, whoops, if I turn it around now, it becomes a yellow layer, and now you see that yellow kind of follows. But they don't, these inner layers will sometimes become disconnected from the inner mechanism. You can see when I turn this side, not only did this part come along, but other parts of it came along as well. So it's really kind of cool. Now the difference between the wormhole, the different wormhole puzzles, this is a 3. Really happy I have this. Now it goes with my 2 and my 1. So what the wormhole 1 gives you is you get peepholes on all of the edges. You can look inside, and so you can look in there, and you can see what happens when you turn things, right? You can see how the inner puzzle changes. What the wormhole 2 does is it covers up this E layer, so when you do stuff like that, depending on you know, how you're turning the puzzle, you can't actually see what's happening there unless you do something like that, right? So that's and it gives the mix-up plus edges to this puzzle. So it's kind of cool. You have to solve the little piece of a mix-up plus puzzle in order to solve the wormhole. And then really, so conceptually, this is not much different. This is just a 4x4 version. So this is the 4x4 mix-up. But it certainly will add some interest, because for those of you that know how to solve a 4x4 mix-up plus, there's a pairing step that has to be done, and the trick would be to coordinate that with the inner, solving the inner puzzle, the inner wormhole puzzle. So I'm really stoked about this. This is going to be really some fun to solve, and yeah, I'm glad I got it. It just is one of those things that it sort of completes a portion of a collection. Even though I say I don't collect puzzles, I like solving them, and so it's going to be kind of cool to solve all 3 wormholes all at once. So that's it. That's my wormhole puzzle, sort of my wormhole 3 that I got. And here, let me get this lamp out of the way a little bit. And so this is the haul that I got from Champions. I got my Shield Cube, which I'm starting to think might be a sheep mod of something. And I'm going to sit here and try and figure it out, and maybe do a little bit of loosening and stuff like that. I got my little very tiny 2x3 cuboid, which is it's going to be a cool little thing to play with and to show off, you know, show non-cubers that there's shapes out there other than just 3x3s and cubes. So, and I got my nice bag here, Z-Cube bag, which might be big enough to, it's certainly big enough to hold a 4x4, and I think it might even hold bigger puzzles too. So it's kind of nice to have that. Well, I'm back with a little follow-up to the Champions Cube Store unboxing. Thought you might be interested to see what size puzzle I could stuff into this Z-Cube bag, and as it turns out, I was able to fit a ShengShou 6x6 in there. So that's a fairly large puzzle, and in fact it's maybe just a tad larger than the wormhole cube, so you could certainly fit a wormhole cube in there. I'll give you the dimensions just in case you have a puzzle and you're not really sure what it is here. So the dimensions of this bag, it's 14 centimeters across, and it's a rectangular bag, so it's 14 all the way, and it's 15 and a half centimeters in length. So that gives you an idea of what size puzzle you can put in there. They're a little on the pricey side, but you know, I don't know, I think it was $3 or something like that compared to some of the other bags. But you know, hopefully the quality is there, and I like the size of it. So I go through quite a few of those bags. I wear them out traveling. And all right, well, I managed to solve this 2x2x3. Of course, it's a cuboid, so it really doesn't solve much like a 2x2. But I think it's a nice little puzzle to you know, let someone experience cuboids for the first time. And you know, it's a fairly simple solve. Certainly if you've solved any kind of cuboid, it won't take very long. But I think it's a nice little puzzle to have on hand. when maybe a cube or even a 2x2 might be a little too hard for the people who are new to puzzles. So, and it's just an interesting puzzle to play with. So I really like it. It's still a little catchy, but I think it'll be fine once it breaks in a little bit. Now this is the Shield Cube, which is called DianSheng. But I actually went and looked it up in the Twisty Puzzle Museum, and it's called the Hex Prism 1 by Adam Cowan. He designed that, and this was apparently sold as a Hex Prism by Mefferts for a while. Obviously this isn't the Mefferts version, so I don't know if this is a knockoff or if it's considered fair game or what, but that's sort of the background of this puzzle. Now I took it all apart, and it's pretty straightforward. Of course it's a shape mod. I won't spoil it for you and tell you what shape mod it is, but you know, you can figure that out. So the way to do it, these are centers, so you just move the adjacent layers out of the way, and these caps come off pretty easily. And so what I did was I took it all apart. I lubed the springs just to get rid of the spring noise. I lubed some of the mechanism, put it all together. Now there is really no tension adjustment because of the way the screws are designed. They have a shoulder on them, so you put them in all the way and then they stop. But the springs are fairly loose, and so I don't think the issue is tension. What I think it is that these caps have a little bit of a lip on them, and it's sort of catching just a bit. But anyway, I did put some lube on there, and that's going to make a, there you go. I put some lube on there, and it is improving. I haven't even solved it once yet. I've just manipulated it a little bit. So it's definitely improving, but yeah, I think it's just catching on the layers, and I think it'll probably sort itself out. Certainly well enough. It certainly turns well enough now to be able to solve it. It's not going to cause any real problems. So there you go. So yeah, so that's what I did. I just took all these caps off and took it all apart, and it just goes back together just like any other puzzle. Pretty straightforward. Kind of fun to try and figure out because of all the different shapes. So that's it. So this was the this is what Adam Cowan designed, is the Hex Prism 1 called the Shield Cube by DianSheng. And I don't know, I haven't had a chance to look whether Mefferts actually still sells this or not. If they do, then that would probably make this a pretty blatant knockoff. Yeah, I just saw this puzzle on Champion's website, and you know, I'm a sucker for inexpensive puzzles like this, and very often I'm pleasantly surprised, and that was the case here. So I really haven't done anything on my Wormhole 3 cube except to admire it. I did, you know, when I was on the internet before and looking at the Shield Cube, the Hex Prism or hexagonal prism, I did notice that this was listed on a list of the top 5 most difficult puzzles that's ongoing in the forum. And the reason given, and I always like it when there's a reason. The reason a poster gave was that it combines so many different elements from different puzzles, and I can actually see that because you have a fuse cube inside here, and once you get that fuse cube sorted out, you kind of have to do a corners first solve of a cube without disturbing the fuse cube, and then you have to do the mix-up plus stuff on the 4x4, the 2-layer mix-up plus, which involves pairing things up, flipping around the little inner edge pieces, and you have to do all of that without messing up the corners or messing up the inner wormhole. So it is quite a nice little challenge. It's doable though. It doesn't require warped lengthy algorithms or anything like that. It just requires a few algorithms and a good solid understanding of what's going on inside the puzzle. So yeah, I'm happy with this, and you know, who knows, maybe I'll do a chain solve or something like that on video if anybody be interested in watching that. So that's it for my Champions Cube Store unboxing. I do value your feedback and your questions, your suggestions, your comments, and I do my level best to get on any comments that do require a response. And so please, I encourage you to leave me feedback. And yeah, so until next time, which will be very shortly, thanks for watching.